Ben from Service here, folks. Today taking you for a walkthrough of this Coleman Lighted Northstar 8-person tent. This is a large family tent with 2 rooms, an instant up frame, awnings all around, and a darkroom coating to make it easy to sleep in the mornings. Before we dive into this product, there is loads more content like this on our YouTube channel, so make sure you like and subscribe and you'll get notified of all of our latest content. Now let's jump in. Before we jump into all the interesting features, we'll cover off on the basics. This is how the tent comes, or the bag that the tent comes in. It weighs about 26 to 28 kilos. Measures about 125 centimeters in length and about 30 centimeters square, depending on how well you pack it up, and it packs inside this bag here. The tent set up behind me, if we cover off on the fabrics first, it's made with a 75D 185T polyester, ripstop polyester fabric. So it's got a 3000 millimeter waterhead, which is more than waterproof for what you need for any average camping trip. So it's going to keep you dry. And it has this black coating on the back, which cuts out, I think they say, about 95% of the light. So if you hold this up against a bright light during the night, all you can see is very fine little spots, almost like a starry sky. It doesn't completely block it out, but blocks out most of the light so you can sleep in the mornings. The frame is a steel, so these upright poles here are a steel pole, and then the instant up frame that's integrated into the tent here, which is tucked up in underneath here, is all a steel frame. So that terminates into sort of flexible nylon hubs that are underneath neoprene sleeves here, just to stop it pinching when it's all folded up. And then the inner is also, they don't specify what, but it's also a polyester, but this isn't waterproof, this fabric here. So the tent's not waterproof when it's packed up or when it's set up without the fly on top. We always recommend you put the fly on and use the guy ropes, because that's what's going to make it waterproof, make it steady in the wind. In the doorways, once again, the nylon fabric in the doors here, and then you've got ultrafine mesh panel there as well. So you can either zip them both up for complete protection or just use the mesh panel to keep the insects out and let the breeze through. And working our way down to the floor, this is a 420D poly-Oxford PVC coated fabric. It's a really nice feeling fabric for a floor. So durable polyester on the outside, and then this PVC coating on the inside. Feels nice and thick and durable, and doesn't have that crinkly sort of sound that most tarp fabrics have that tent floors have got. So part of their Gold Series tent are these upgraded fabrics. So I want to do a bit of a walk around of the tent. We'll come back to the front last, because that's where the most interesting things are. Now each end of the tent is the same. You can set it up in 2 different ways. So I've got this one set up just as a vestibule that is zipped closed here at the moment. So if I unzip this, you can see you've got a bit of storage space in underneath here. Comes out about 60 centimeters from the edge of the tent to the outer edge here, so you've got a bit of storage. And you do also get these doormats that are included with the tent here as well, which is just a mesh tarp sort of doormat there that you can peg out. So I've got this set up just as a vestibule. You can also set it up as an awning. You get 2 extra awning poles, so you can set this one up in the same manner that I'll show you the other end of the tent is set up. While I'm here though, I'll show you one other feature, which is this Velcro strip here. This features on the awnings at each end of the tent, not the large awning at the front. This is designed to integrate with a gazebo, preferably a Coleman gazebo that has a long strip of Velcro up under the canopy of the gazebo, which means you can unzip this, fold it out and tuck that up under and actually attach it to your gazebo. So you've got a seamless connection between your tent and your gazebo. Moving around to the back, I'll just point out the red tabs here for setup, so you can match up the fly sheet with the inner there, so if you can orient the fly nice and easily. You've got 2 windows at the back here, which can be set up in one of 3 ways. Step across in front of you here. If we unzip the sides, you can roll this up and secure it up and out the way with these tabs at the top here. This tab underneath, you can just loop it up and secure that out the way for ventilation. That looks into the door inside, or window inside, that's got an internally adjustable privacy screen. You can also use the guy ropes that are integrated on these to peg this out as a bit of a weather protected awning. So if it's light rain, but you still want a bit of ventilation, grab some pegs, peg them out like that so you get ventilation underneath. Alternatively, if the weather is really bad, zip this closed. You've got storm flaps down the side here, Velcro tabs to secure that down, and then you've got a Velcro tab on the bottom there to keep that closed over, so you've got maximum water protection there. Below that, you'll see this little kind of dome-shaped thing here, or cone-shaped thing here. This is the circle ventilation system. So up under here, we'll show you on the inside later, there's a little vent that you can open from the inside just to allow low-level circulation or ventilation throughout the tent. Jumping over to this side, same thing. because you can use this as a 2-room tent. Got the same features on here, so same window, same ventilation port at the bottom there. And then coming around to this end of the tent here, we've got this set up as a weather protected awning over this doorway here. Now there are doorways at each end of the tent, so the other end that we looked at has a doorway underneath that vestibule as well, but this is mirrored to that end. So about 60 centimeters out to here for a bit of storage if you like, but when you set this up, there's an awning. It's about 140 centimeters across this way, and it comes out about 140 centimeters from the edge of the inner tent here out to where the poles come here approximately. So couple of different setup options there. You can also just roll this up if you like and secure it up the top here, up and out the way if you don't want to have it set up, you just want to open for maximum ventilation. We're coming across to the awning at the front here. So we've got a 3-pole peaked awning here. So there's enough poles in the tent that come with the tent to set up the awnings at each side or each end, and this 3-pole awning at the front, and you get this ridge pole here as well. So you can create this peak here. The old awnings used to dip a bit in the middle and catch water. The water can now run off the side here. Now this awning is 3 meters approximately from pole to pole there, and comes out about 150 centimeters from the edge of the inner tent out to about here. So a good amount of space. You could probably fit a small table or a small family under here maybe, but certainly enough space for a couple of chairs to sit in out of the sun and have a drink. You also get this longer doormat here that fits in that vestibule space there. You can peg that out so you've got somewhere to put your shoes or somewhere to wipe your feet before you jump into the tent. And then you've got these 2 entrances here that are mirrored on each side. So each of these doorways is the same thing. So if I zip this up, you can see you can zip it right up closed, completely closed up. You've got this mesh on the outside, but there's an internally adjustable privacy panel in there, which I'll show you when we step inside. Just as we go inside though, I just want to show you, you've got light switch here, which works, operates the lights inside. So this is a lighted tent, so it's got integrated lighting. So there's actually switches on each side. You've got one inside here, and you've also got a light on the outside. So you can turn the lights on from both inside and also as you're stepping into the tent. And there's a divider in there that you'll see shortly. So each room has got its own light switch, so you can turn the lights on independently as you go inside. Now stepping through this door, I'll just show you the configuration of this. If you unzip this panel inside here, it just goes down to sort of halfway down the door. So if this was zipped closed, you can see this panel here has got a second zip that runs down the side there, and that mesh panel is half the door. So it's not a full mesh door. So if I zip this up, I've got the bottom section closed, the top section is mesh. Or zip it right up and it becomes a full mesh panel. These can be just secured to the side with these tabs here, so you can keep it out the way if you like. But you don't have the option just to have a mesh door here. It's either half mesh, half polyester, or full polyester. So coming into the tent, the first thing I'll talk about is this divider here, which is removable. So this is what creates a 2-room tent. This is just attached by easy tabs up here, so it just hangs in place. You can roll these back if you like to create a large space during the day, or say when everyone's awake, and then at night you can zip it closed. Or alternatively, if you just want to use it as one large single room tent, you can take this divider out completely, but otherwise it can hang there just like curtains. So starting with all the features at the top here in the middle, reasonably sturdy hook here for lanterns if you like, or whatever you want to hang at the top here, little secure hook. But not necessarily needed, because the main feature of this tent are these integrated lights here, and I'm going to turn these on later and show you how they work. But this is an integrated strip lighting that just fits in this pocket here, so you can actually remove them and put your own lighting in there if you like. But that lighting exists in there. There's another one, independent one here, so they all have their own switches. Those cables run through this sheath here, down the side of the tent here to this point here, where we've got those 2 switches that we saw before, same switches on the outside, and they come down to a pocket here where you can put either the included 4D cell battery pack here, which will plug in and you can just tuck that in there, or just use a power bank, which I think I have one here. There we go. I'm just going to plug my power bank into this and leave it there ready to turn the lights on a little bit later. Tuck it in there, and we've got light to the tent, all operated independently through these 2 switches here. Now, features inside the tent are mirrored. So if we draw a line down this half here, whatever you see on this side here is exactly the same as what you see on the other side. So you've either got 2 rooms with exactly the same features, or one large room with a double up of features. So Starting at the back here, we've got that little circle ventilation thing. So this looks out into that cone-shaped vent that we saw at the rear there. So we can open this up, secure it down nice and low with these tabs here. And we've got ventilation at a low point in the tent, which is probably really good for hot and humid nights. Above that, storage pockets. These are divided into 3. So you've got 2 thin pockets on each side and a larger one in the middle there. That is the same as over here. So you've got a total of 4 pockets like this in the tent, because same on the other side. And above that is a window. Now this is an internally adjustable privacy screen that zips from the top down. So we can just have it zipped halfway down for ventilation if we like, or all the way. Tuck it into there so it stays out of the way. You have got a tab here that you can secure it if you like. That looks onto the window that we saw on the outside, so we can unzip that, and there's another mesh panel there, so that's where we get the ventilation through the tent. So 2 of these, always because this window is also featured in the other end of the tent, the other side of the tent there. And moving around to the door, this is the doorway that we saw that leads out to the awning at the end of the tent. Just find the zipper here, so we can zip it open completely, but it otherwise features the same features as the front door does, whereby the top half of it zips open to have mesh at the top. You can secure this down with the tab here if you like, so you've got ventilation that's looking out into that awning that we set up on the outside there, or zip this open so you can actually access the tent completely. There's a bit of a step at the bottom there, so a bit of a trip hazard I suppose, but doesn't zip all the way to the tent, but that gives plenty of waterproofness because this floor lips up and around. It's a bucket floor. So. And down in the bottom corner here, once again, this is mirrored on the other side, so you can have 2 lots of power coming in the tent, but a little red zipper here that lines up with or goes through to the outside of the tent. That's to get 12 or 240 volt power inside the tent. Lines up with little clips that you've got here and across the top. So if you did not want to use the integrated lighting and use your own lantern, you can get power in using these loops here, hook it up here and run some lighting or even a fan if you like, just to get some ventilation in here. So 2 points at which you can get power into the tent. Now, in terms of general dimensions of the tent, I'm 185 centimeters. It's about 2 meters head height to the middle here. If I move to the side here, I reach probably the middle of this side of the tent before my head starts to hit the side of the tent, and I measured about 170 centimeters to this point here. If I move to the back of the tent, I can almost stand right to the rear before my head hits the side. So these sides of the tent are quite upright. So there's plenty of standing room in the tent here. The actual floor space is about 240 centimeters from front to back in each room here, and about 210 centimeters from that far point there to the middle point here. So the total length here is about 220 centimeters. Don't quote me exactly on that, because when you stretch it out, you get slightly different dimensions. But probably a better way to show you how you can use the space inside is for me to grab the mattresses that I've got. I've got a double high queen mattress and 2 king single mattresses that I'm going to throw in here to show you how you can use the space. All right, so I've squeezed a double high queen mattress on this side. That measures about 2 meters in length, 150 centimeters in width, and it's about 50 centimeters high. So that pretty much fills that side of the tent. If I move that back to the halfway, you can see you've got a little bit of space there. You do have a little bit of space at that end as well. So if you use the end door, you could move this right over like this. You can have a little bit of standing space at the end. A little bit of standing space about this much at the front door there, but the mattress fits quite comfortably, and that's a big mattress. So if you've got a mattress that's sat quite low, you'd be able to move it up a little bit and have more space. Now these guys are about 185 or just sort of 190 in length and about 1 meter in width. So 2 kids mattresses in here, fit pretty comfortably. Maybe this way might be a good way to go, because it is 240 in width, and that way you're making use of these sides here, and you've got this space down the middle. Alternatively, put them together so you've got a bit of walking space, a bit of a sort of channel to come into the tent here. So that gives you a bit of an idea on how you can use the space inside the tent here. I've got, so that queen there, these doubles here, you can quite easily zip this closed. If you do want a bit of privacy, that hangs down in between there. So I just want to show you a little bit on the integrated lighting system before I zip everything closed, and show you just how dark it can be. I'll just get that center curtain out the way now. 2 switches here. I've got that plugged into my power bank here. Now there's 4 settings on these switches. There's a button in the middle here, this little unit inside, and each press just scrolls through these settings from low to medium to high to glow to off. Now the glow setting is just a setting that allows you to see the switch at night, which you'll see shortly when I close all the fly sheet down to show you how dark it gets inside. And there's independent light, so this operates one side, this operates the other, and it's the same features for the switch on the outside, so they all do the same thing. So if you have a look up at the roof now, I'll show you that if I turn the light on this side on, the LED lights come on this side of the room. If I switch the other light, the LED lights come on the other side of the room. So that's how the lights work. I want to show you how the glow setting works here and also show you how dark it is inside here when it's all zipped up. So what I'm going to do is close all the doors and windows, zip the awnings down, we'll come back inside, check out the switch, and we'll show you how dark it is. All you'll see is a little bit of light coming in around the base of the tent. So this is the last zipper on the fly sheet here now. I'll zip that down. Got light coming in through the base of the fly, and I'm going to zip the last door, inner door closed here as well. You might not be able to see me doing this, but that's now blocked out as much light as we can. So this is the middle of the day. There's a bit of light coming in around the base of the tent, a bit of light from underneath the awning there at the front, but it is actually pretty dark in the tent here. So if I show you the switches here again now, we'll turn one side on low, second side on low, then we go medium and then light. So that's the brightest settings on each side there, which creates a good amount of light inside the tent. If it was dark outside, there'd be plenty of light in here now to play, game and function. One more press on each of these, switches them, the lights off and switches them into the glow mode. So hopefully you can just see on there, this light or the switch just glowing a little bit. So the kids are going to find it easy, or anyone's going to find it easy to find the switches at night. They glow on the outside as well. 2 presses because you switch to off and then on again, and that's then going to turn the lights on inside the tent, and we can then scroll back up to the bright setting, so completely independent. That is all the features of the Coleman Instant Up Lighted Northstar 8P tent. I reckon it's a great family tent, 2 rooms, so the kids can have their space on one side, mum and dad can have their space on the other. Lots of different setup options with the awnings at each end. So you've got shade, you've got ventilation, you've got rain protection if you need to zip it right up close. So great family camping tent for any conditions. You can check these out online at snowies.com.au where you find them at our lowest prices every day. But if you've got any questions, you can either ask there on our website or let us know down in the comments below.